Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash. Now with son called Halalim, by Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash. Now with son called Halalim. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai Ba'Shem Kakadash. Shalom, shalom to you out there. Hopeful elect. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, "The Little Horn in Daniel 8 is not the Antichrist." As a matter of fact, and other topics, as a matter of fact, there's no such thing as one Antichrist. So I will go into Daniel chapter 8. I may go to the point, or I might just go break down the whole chapter. When you go to Daniel, the 8th chapter, it's a prophecy that already took place more than 2,000 years ago. Yeah, more than 2,000 years ago that had taken place. Talks about Alexander the Greek, the Medo-Persian Empire, which came. The Medo-Persian Empire. Before that was the Babylonian Syrian Empire, which the Babylonian Empire were the rulers of Babylon. The Babylonian Empire were Syrians, not Cushites. That's something that was taught at One West, because when you go to Genesis, I believe it's Genesis 10, it speaks about Nimrod and the kingdom of Babylon. And Nimrod was a Cushite, but the Babylonian Empire, some call it the Neo-Babylonian Empire, the rulership was the nation that ruled that kingdom, Nebuchadnezzar and so forth. They were Assyrians. So it started off as the Assyrian rule, and there was a lion with eagle's wings, but it stood up on its feet. A man's heart was given to him. I'm just paraphrasing. If I'm, blotching it up, please forgive me. I'm not going to go to it. But if you go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, you go, I believe it's called the Eastern section or something like that. It deals with the Middle Eastern kingdoms. And you have actual, I don't know how they did this, but they actually went to that region of the world in the Levant, and they somehow got that piece, and it doesn't look. It looks like the original piece, that wall relief, if you want to call it, carved out into a lion with eagle's wings. And sometimes it's good. That's the best museum to go to in New York, because it covers. I used to go there all the time. We used to have field trips in the middle of the week, and Hafiz Ariel would always show up, and he would say, "Where's Tahar taking you now?" "Oh, Tahar is taking us to the museum," and then Hafiz Ariel would come along, So, yeah, those are the good old days. And me, High Priest Ariel, like High Priest Haikwa, King Marshall, we were friends. I knew their house. I go to their houses unannounced. I knew where Mo. How many of you guys that claim you know Mo? Where did Mo live? In the Bronx. I can show you exactly where he lived in the Bronx. I can show you exactly where he lived in Manhattan. And I've been to his house. I know his family, his children, his wife, his children. All right. So, I was in the sanctum, so to speak. So anyway, before I go into my thing, like I said, I'm going to cover Daniel chapter 8, because a brother quoted the long video I did, the almost 2 hour video I did yesterday. Somebody had, I was going through Isaiah chapter 19, and it spoke about a cruel Lord. And then somebody had put in, they're still learning. They're learning very, very quickly. They know things that somebody that's been in this thing for, I don't know, 5 years or more should know. So he's very new, but he's moving very quickly, and he's always putting scriptures, precepts in my comment section and in other videos that he goes to. He's always putting up, he'll say something, he'll put up a precept. So when I was going into Isaiah the 19th chapter, it spoke about a cruel Lord or something or another. And then he put in, as a precept, he put in Daniel 8, and I pretty much said, no, it's not talking about that. But then he said, well, who's it talking about? And I said who it was Antiochus Epiphanes. And he said, oh, the water. That's how you learn. I'm gonna say this here. Let me change gears. When you do the live streams, it's good. When you do the pre-recorded videos, is good. But live streams are great, and even premieres are great. I think live streams are even better, but premiere videos are the next best thing. See, I like to do premieres because if I said something that I didn't like, I don't want to say it in a live stream. So sometimes I say, no, I don't like the way that came up. Scratch that. Let's do it all over again. So I mean, it's no big deal. But a premiere is the next best thing to a live, a showing on YouTube. Because when you put up a premiere, you go live, you have the chat. Yeah, so you have one class going, you're watching a screen, and then you have another class going where you got the chat, which is a live chat, and then I can participate in that live chat. And then you also have the comment section south of the video, right? After it's played. So you got three. So you got three class. Every time you do a video like that, premiere, live, you got three different classes going on. The initial class is the video. The next class is going on is on the side of the video, the live chat. And then you have, after the video is done, you have the comment section. And that's where you got people that come against you, go against you, ask more questions. It also leads to other videos. See, this is a spiritual thing, man. And you got to get this word. The scriptures say, make full proof of thy ministry, right? Anyway, let me say one more thing. All you men, this is for you men that have been in this thing from the beginning, listen to me clearly. All you men that go back 12, 13, 14, 15 years. Some of you came into this thing when we first got on. So some of you been in this thing for 15, 14 plus 15 years. And you men are now elders, right? You men are now elders and leaders. So in the camp, you have the number one guy, then you have the number two guy, then you may have a number three guy, number four guy, then you got down a list. So you could have the leader. The leader could have came in a month before the other individual came in. So it'll be established that he's the first guy, the head guy, he's the second in command. It could be, 3 leaders, 4 leaders, or whatever. And then you get like a secondary group of leaders. Well, your job is not to just look over the flock. Your job is to look over the entire flock, meaning you got to know what's going on with these other GMS camps, and they have to be vetted. There was a situation that the elder Manat Zakbar put up about this guy. I don't know the dude. I'm truth be told, I don't know. If you tell me, oh, that guy's he was GMS guy. Oh, I didn't know that because because the scriptures speak about counting Israel. I'm not going to say what's your name, where you live, what's your mama's maiden name, what's your social security number, how tall are you, what high school did you attend, what's your bank account, all this. No, I'm not going to do that. You call yourself GMS because of the spirit that's on you. All right. Now, in the beginning, let's say, I don't know, 2009, I don't know, end of 2009, going into 2010, the first group that came out was the Dallas, GMS Dallas. They came out. We were looking at them sideways because we didn't know them. But they've been out here, the top brothers, they've been out here, I don't know, that next 4 or 5 years, they've been out here to New York. I would say easily more than 10 times. And then you had other individuals. You had Chicago, GMS Chicago. You had other individuals come out too. So it was you had brothers from England come out. Now, what we used to do was we put them up, Apostle Gabar put them up, Apostle Ramar put them up, other bishops would put them up, so they don't have to get in a hotel, right? Now these guys that came in the beginning, which proved themselves being in this thing for 15 years, being diligent. The scriptures in was it Acts 7 speak about they established the 7. Stephen was one of them, and they said that it spoke about them having a good report. So you don't have anything bad to say about them. They just good individuals. They constantly prove through the years that they're good individuals. Well, you guys are also the leader. You guys are also part of the leadership, right? Now, there's a thing called a vetting process where somebody wants to be a part of an organization or join some group. There's a thing called a vetting process, meaning where you check them out, if they got a criminal record, if you go with a job, there's a vetting process that goes on. So the same thing now. You got people that come in that it ain't right, and they show, and that's like this one guy. Like I said, I don't know the dude from the can of paint. Give me a second. Let me turn this alarm off. This guy had got, according a bad report, whether he's justified, or not. But the ones that kind of spoke against him, these guys been in this thing diligent from day one. We're talking, if not 15 years old, 14 and a half years. Okay? It said that this guy would call certain people and say shalom. And just because a brother says shalom, and let me get your number. You can't be doing that, man. Oh, I'm shalom down with GMS. All of a sudden, you let them babysit your kids. You got to think. You got to use your fucking head. Use your head for something other than the hat rack. You got a brain in your head. You got to think. There's a lot of spies in GMS. A lot in the form of the police and other agencies. And the hard part is the spies, the insiders, infiltrators. Those are the nicest ones. They'll never give you trouble. They're ready to give you a ride or offer you money. They don't rock rock the boat, so to speak. But you gotta do it. You gotta have a mindset of vetting people, because I can't see everybody, and I'm not going to see everybody. I'm not going to say, okay, let me check out this camp, let me check out that camp, and because how can I do the work? How can I do the work if I'm busy? Okay, let me check this guy out. So there's 20 guys. Let me check each and every one of them. There's no way, and I'm not going to do that. Go back to Moses. Go back to Moses. Now, why did Moses marry a Ethiopian woman? Midianite Ethiopian. Is actually Ethiopian. The Most High set it up for a reason, so that he could meet her father. Her father, Jethro, was a tribal leader. So he's talking to him. He had a good rapport with Moses and Jethro, right? He had a good rapport with him. He honored and respected his father, his stepfather, or his whatever you call it, stepfather, whatever, father-in-law. And he would tell him, he said, how are you leading all these people? And he said, well, what I do is I sit there, get up in the morning or whatever, and people come to me with their problems. And how long do you do that? I do that all day. And he said that this is what he said. He said, you're going to wear yourself out, and you're going to wear out your people. He says, set up captains of hundreds, captains of thousands, captains of 50, and let them deal with these various situations. And if there's something major, then you deal with it. Same thing with David. David didn't know everybody in Israel. If there was 1 million Israelites living during the time of, and that's what the house of David is all about. The house of David, as high priest Yeshua, you say, oh, look, the house of David is the tribe of Judah. Nope, that's why he's not teaching no more. All right, great brother. Me and him were close friends. If I seen him, hey, shalom, how you doing? But he's not doing this no more. He's still alive. He's still alive. He don't know how to work the YouTube. That guy's a smart individual, college educated and all that. That dude knows how to do that. The Spirit just pushed him out for now. We don't know what the Most High is going to do. But so not to broil on him, but I came up under him. He was one of my teachers, and he was a great teacher. But where am I getting at? Oh, he said that the house of David are only Judites. That's not true. The house of David, because did not David have Levites? Did not he have the warriors of Israel, which is Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh? The house of David in Amos 9 is referring to the Israelites of that generation that was living during the time period of the house of David. Before that, you had the house of Saul. So now David, he didn't know like he walking down the street, hey, Shama Allah, shalom, and Ezekiel, shalom, and this I'm trying to think of some names. Gabar, shalom. He didn't know them people. He didn't know them people. He didn't go out looking at each and every 1,000,001 Israelite and check him out. Let me go to this guy's house. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So through the years, we had a lot of brothers come to to the house. They came to my house. Can't do that no more. Now, the brothers that go back 14, 15 years that we trust them, of course they can come out. But and it kind of stopped. It kind of, they don't come out as much, you know, because basically the reason why it was coming out too, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'll say, okay, I was wrong, is to get your battery packs charged, you know. Your battery packs are charged up, and you know how to charge your own battery packs. Reason why a lot of these guys go to they get with, I'm gonna go to this camp now, I'm gonna go to that camp, I'm gonna get with you. It's like every 2 months and getting, because they're trying to charge their battery packs. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. These other state camps don't come out. Then we said don't be coming out all that much, and if you do come out, just come out with the top leadership, the head leader, second in command, the third in command, maybe possibly the fourth in command, not the whole camp. We had GMS Chicago I remember when they used to come out, like they came out deep, be like 12, 14 brothers, 15 brothers. About half of them fell off, you know? And that's what happens. You're gonna have matter of fact, the leader fell off. Beautiful brother, Michael Allah. Michael Allah was a beautiful, the little time that I knew him, he was a beautiful brother. Beautiful brother. Yashawan, big Yashawan, I call him. Beautiful brother. He sat down right next to me on the couch. And he had shown me a picture of somebody looked like. He said, who that look like? I said, oh, that looked like me. You know, he had a smile on his face. And I remember the Chi-Town, when they come out, they'll bring in their homemade salsa and all kind of jars and shit. Then they'll just get up and go to your kitchen and start taking plates. I said, what the hell y'all doing in my kitchen? You know? But it was all in love and fun, right? But then almost half of them, of the original crew, they fell off, you know? So we can't, hey, don't take it the wrong way. What's wrong with these apostles? They think they better than us. Yeah, we are better than, no, I'm messing around. We're just in that order. There's a higher order. But you got to be careful, man. There's stories. There's one guy, he was out there, you know, in the world. He wasn't an Israelite. He's an Ephraimite dude. I believe it was him or somebody else that he said that they had infiltrated his little thing, and they got so close that I believe he was gonna make this guy his best man. There was another story, a real true story of an actual guy, an infiltrator, maybe a cop, fed or whatever, that got so close to this guy. I don't know if he was a drug dealer or cartel or whatever. He got so close to the head guy that this guy, the head guy said, I want you to be my best man. And check that out. But anyway, you gotta, y'all brothers, you brothers out there, you leaders out there, you gotta look at these other guys and see what's going on. And just because somebody says shalom and all that, let me get your number and let's exchange. That really shouldn't be going on. Unless it's leaders getting together. You know, this guy that came in, he just came in a year ago and he got everybody's number. You know? And that's why I don't give out numbers, man. There was one brother, he's still in his truth. He had this chick, she could have been a damn spy, and she wound up getting everybody's number except mine, because I didn't give him my number. Remember Bun Lawyer, the brother that he transitioned? It was Bun Lawyer and Priest Danyala. They said, can I get your number? I said, no, I don't give out numbers. I don't give out numbers. I had too many bad experiences with that. So they kind of got mad, but they got over it because you just can't be that open. This is all about the truth. I can imagine if there was an opening and you can go up into heaven, you'll be bugging Yahweh Shai all the time. Look, Yahweh Shai, guess what? We coming up to hang out with y'all and the angels. Shalom. Yahweh Shai didn't leave his smartphone number, right? He didn't leave He didn't leave his IP address and nothing like that. He didn't give you a spaceship. Well, anytime you feel a little down, about to depression, just hop in that ship and come up in the heaven and hang out with me for about a month. Just do the work. Just do the work. Okay? So I said a whole lot. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to kind of be all over the place. And I am going to go into Daniel chapter 8, dealing with the little horn. Anyway, let me let you listen to this. Bear with me for a minute. This is, by the way, what Bishop Nate is experiencing is a media tour. And me and this other individual named Yash, you don't know him. He doesn't speak no more, but he still knows he's an Israelite. You know, if you go to his house, I've been to his house, I picked up his daughter, and I ran into him on his house. Now the Lord says, I believe that's Deuteronomy chapter 4 or 6. I'm not going to go to it. It speaks about writing the laws on your doorpost, right? And he actually got the laws in the Hebrew on his doorpost, because when I picked up his daughter, I said, yep, that's his house. And what was I going to say? Oh, it was me and him. We had like a cable show years ago. We had a number of different cable shows, and it was picked up by media. So we had channel, news media, the real news media, like the channel 2s, channel 4s, channel 7s, the different talk shows at that time. We went to Geraldo Rivera's show, and he's an Ephraimite. That dude's an Israelite for sure. He's a straight up Israelite. That dude's cool as hell. Hey, we went in the audience, and he said, look, we got the Hebrew. We didn't say nothing. He said, oh, we got the Hebrew Israelites in the audience. Stand up and take a bow and clap for him. Then he invited me to his office, man. We were just me and him, no bodyguards, no nothing. And we were just talking. We were just talking, man. And I remember when there was other people and seeing them. Oh, there goes Geraldo. There goes Geraldo. And then somebody said, well, who's that guy next to him? Then somebody said, that's his bodyguard. And I started laughing, So we sat down and we were trying to figure out a show to put together. And he said, yeah, we can do that maybe in the future, but nice meeting you, blah, blah, blah. But he did notice us, But anyway, I'm all over the place. But we went on other shows. Matter of fact, we went on a major show in New York, and it wound up being like a curse out show. We just, because they had the KKK, neo-Nazi small hats, and we were just cursing them out. We were just like, we cursed out the chick. And then she even got in my face, said, do you know I can kick you off this show? I said, I didn't want to be on your fucking show in the first goddamn place. And I just lost it, all right? But you know what happened? They didn't even show the show. And then my cousin, Yohannabar, called him because he was there, because they actually kicked him out. Because he was in the audience, he kept raising hell. And then they got the security guards. And then Yohannabar was going to fight him. But then the security guards were cool. They said, look, we ain't here to fight. She's telling us, can you please have this, big deal. The security guards were cool as hell. So you can see him walking off the stage, out of the studio, cursing, yeah, fuck you, motherfucker, Most I gonna kill your ass, you damn devils, And I'm looking at this one Edomite KKK with a damn puppet with a KKK mask, and I'm sitting right next to him, getting him dirty looks, because I was young, and I was like I said, man, if this guy say anything to me, I'm a rearrange his goddamn dental work. And then there was a small hat on the other side. We were Nazi. We just like in the middle of commercial breaks. We put your ass in the slavery. It's all that. I remember all that, man. But we were on and then after that show, we had a lineup of different shows, major shows we were gonna go on. After that show, they put a call. He said, "Nah, you don't want these guys on your show because they're wild. They don't know how to act," and they stopped calling us. But we were lined up to go on these major shows. So somebody upstairs, probably a small hat, they said, "Okay, we're gonna play off of this Israelite thing, and our focus is gonna be on Bishop Nathaniel." Same thing happened to me. The focus was on myself and Yasha. All right, it's called a media tour. So, okay, he was on this guy. These guys are all in. They get a memo. Okay, we're gonna let this guy come on your show because these YouTube pages are really extended TV stations. Even top TV, every major TV station got a YouTube page. And you know when they signed up, YouTube came on the scene in 2005. The bishop, keep the bishop's name out your mouth. He came on in 2006, and I knew about it. I used to watch some of the videos. Another group, I think HOI was there. They had a page before us, and GOCC. Those are the only groups that was on there. And then when it was 2007, I said, you know what? Let's go on there. Let's see what happens. And we bombarded them, and everybody flocked to us. We gave everybody wings on their back to put multiple, because we were putting up multiple videos. Matter of fact, 10 months, they just cut our first page. It was on the night of the Passover. I'm going to check out the page. We only had one page. And I said, where's the page? And they just cut us. No strikes and nothing. They just cut us on the night of the Passover. I forget what year. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was like I guess it was the beginning of 2008. It was like March of 2008. And we had the Passover at my house. That's when we didn't have no followers, whatever. And they cut and I was pissed off. And then that made us open up multiple accounts. And there was a point where we would put up a video. Put up a YouTube account, and we wouldn't even put up a video, and they'll cut it. Or put up one video, not really saying nothing, and they will cut it. So I said, damn, they just, they ain't gonna deal with us, period. And I was looking, and I found a video on Daily Motion. There was a brother put up a video of us speaking, and I believe he was from Philadelphia. They said, what's this Daily Motion all about? And I clicked on it, and I said, you can join. Oh, it's just like YouTube. So all our videos went on Daily Motion. Then I believe that during that time, I forget the year, I believe Google purchased YouTube. YouTube was like a separate company, and I think Google, correct me if I'm wrong, took them over. And then somehow we was able to get back on line. And what made us famous was you're a slut, you're a slut, you're a slut, you're a slut. Even radio stations are playing that, man. But anyway, like I said, I experienced the media tour. That's what Bishop Nate is experiencing, okay? Now, the last show that he went on was with this guy. I don't keep up with these sports people, but this guy was like obviously set up to kind of knock this whole, oh, I can't see it. I can't see it. And I would have said, you know what, man? Look, this is not for everybody. So let me let you listen to this. Let me let you listen to this. So I gave you a lot of information. I gave you a lot of history, a lot of information. But you gotta keep your eyes open, man. You can't, just because somebody says shalom, let me get your number, and all of a sudden they calling you, oh, could you give me $100? You send 100. You don't know if he's calling 20 other people asking for $100. All right? You got to stop being so goddamn naive. So that's where the leadership comes in. Dallas, you got Houston. These are two of the camps, GMS camps that came in from the beginning. You got to be over. You got to be over a lot of these other state camps. You got to watch over them. You got brothers on the East Coast. You got brothers on East, Southeast. You got a handful of Florida camps. Great teachers come out of Florida. You know, you guys gotta, big up. You gotta keep your eyes on them other camps, Georgia and whatever. I'm just throwing places out there. Chi-Town is a major camp. GMS Chicago is a major camp. So they have they have some influence over the surrounding states. All right. California, LA, California, the West Coast, that's a major camp. There's multiple camps out there, because if they got all the men together, you talking about what, 50 some odd men? Because you got new guys coming in all the time, and they over that whole West Coast through the Spirit. All right. Like I said, these guys have been in this thing 13, 14, 15 years. They've proven themselves. All right. So your leaders, lead. And it's very simple to lead. Just this is how you lead. You lead by example. You see us, the apostles, we out there every weekend. We always doing videos, doing the sit downs. And there's always something to talk about. And everybody in GMS that's a man, that's in the camp, if you knew, you're supposed to be a reader. Then you're supposed to start speaking. You're supposed to always, out of his belly shall flow what? Rivers of living water. So if you kept this contained in you, you would just burst, right? So you got to let it out. Anyway, let me let you listen to this, and I'm gonna see where I'm gonna go with this. Which is fine. But watch this Revelation chapter 1. I'm just gonna read the description of the Messiah.
Rakthei Ho, Rakthei Ho Shai.
His name wasn't Jesus. In the Hebrew, it's called Yahushai, or Revelation chapter 1. I'm just gonna read the description of the Messiah. Now we know his name wasn't Jesus. In the Hebrew, it's called Yahushai, or Yahshua, as some say, which is fine. It's not Yahshua. He don't have two names. The Lord didn't say, well, you can call me Jay, or you can call me Clay. If you know what I'm talking about, that goes way back. You're showing your age. Anyway, the Lord didn't say, oh, I got two names, Yahushai and Yahshua. Choose which name you want to call me. No, it's one name. So why would he make a statement like that? Something rotten in Denmark for him to make a statement like that. He said, we know. Let me bring it back. Which is fine. Shy, or we know his name wasn't Jesus. In the Hebrew, we know his name wasn't Jesus. In the Hebrew. So why would you say, who's the King Christ? Who's the King Christ? Who's the King Christ? Christ is Greek for anointed and Latin for anointed. Christos, Latin and Greek, it sounds almost identical. All right. Why would you say, who's the King Christ? Who's the King Christ? When that's not his name. Matter of fact, that's not even a name. It's a title. All right. Now you said, well, that's in the English. No, it's not. I just said it. Look it up. The word Christ is from the Greek Christos and from the Latin Christos. That's a Latin way and the Greek way of saying the Messiah's name. In the Hebrew is Mashiach, or Messiah. That's where you get the word Messiah from. It's Hebrew for chosen, anointed. Well, we say Christ because that's the English way of saying a Messiah. No, it's not. It's Latin and Greek, either Latin or Greek. Why don't you just say, who's the king? The anointed. Who's that? Wouldn't that make more sense? Who's the king? The anointed. Who's the king? The anointed. What you're giving him a title instead of a name. His name is not the anointed. Yes, as stupid ass Christians. Who's the name of the Lord and Savior? He said Jesus. What's his last name? He said Christ. Fucking dummies. So you said we know his name, not Jesus. Then why you keep pushing that vibration? And then you say Yahweh Shai correctly, but then you said, oh, and some say Yeshua. Why would you put that vibration out there, man? And I'm waiting for Paul Kersey to come on my page so you can address that video that I did on the Syrophoenician woman was an Israelite, because you guys said he wasn't. And it's on the same video here with the Go Black to Africa guy. Go back to Black to Africa. So let's listen.
He's called Yahushai or Yahshua, as some say, which is fine, which is fine. But watch this Revelation chapter 1. I'm just going to read the description of the Messiah.
You notice he said the Messiah, right? Well, that's the English. Well, Messiah is like sort of like Hebrew. Well, Hebrew. I'm gonna read about the Messiah. Messiah is a word, Mashiach, Mashiach, which the English would be Messiah, which is saying a Hebrew word, but you're saying it like an, how can I say this? English vernacular. Let me just say that.
Now we know his name wasn't Jesus. In the Hebrew, he's called Yahushai or Yahshua, as some say, which is fine, which is fine. But watch this Revelation chapter 1. I'm just going to read the description of the Messiah.
Rakatha Yahweh, Rakatha Yahushai. All praises to Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai. Hashem Kahakadash. Shalom Barakim. Rabakayari Nasha'ala. Washimi Kabad. Awala Wakab. Funny Noah. Waha Shalayakim Noah Yasha'ala Ba'ay. Sorry, giving all praise to the Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh. His name is Son Yahushai. Ignorantly calls Jesus Christ.
This is Elder Monaghan out of DC, GMS DC. Very good in the Hebrew and in the scriptures.
Hebrew. Doctrines of the Spirit is the comfort to God's understanding. Peace and blessings to the elect Israelites. The remnant of Israel has been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Have faith and works in Yahweh Shai, waiting for him to come back and deliver us, our mediator, Melchizedek. All right. And double honors to our elders and apostles. They came back with reincarnation, because reincarnation is real, being known as Great Millstone. So as you can just see on the screen, we don't expect Nathaniel of the IUIC to declare the names, be proud that that is the correct name. All right. You don't expect him to say the name or to teach the name or say that the name is important. And that should be a trigger to all you Israelites out there, that when the name is not glorified or magnified, that somebody's wrong. All right, that person is not in the spirit of the Lord. Psalms 22 and 22. I will declare thy name unto my brethren, in the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. They had the perfect opportunity. We talking about 2,200 people watching, right? 2,200 people watching. So if you have a big congregation, you had a lot of people paying attention to this thing. And what do you say? You give multiple options. All right. The Lord said his name is one. He will not give his glory unto another. His name is Yahweh. And the son's name is Yahushua. All right. Now, in this same video, not too further on, right after this, he goes to Revelation and goes into the description. And he goes on to say that there's colorism. There's color in the heavens. The Lord put color in the scriptures, so it matters. What the Lord looks like matters, which is very true. And Nate was getting down. He was teaching very well, but he fumbled. All right, he fumbled on the 1 yard line. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because he stresses the importance of the color of Yahushua, how there's color in heaven, angels have color. Okay, but there's also a language in the heavens. There was a language that was given from the heavens. All right, yes, his image is important, but isn't the way he spoke important too, and the language that he spoke just as important? Acts 9 and verse 5, it says, and he said, who art thou? And the Lord said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I answered Acts 22 and 8, because there was 3 times he told the story, or 2 times he told the story when it happened. And I answered, who art thou? And he said unto me, I am Yahushua of Nazareth, whom thou persecutest. Acts 26 and 15. And I said, who art thou? And he said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. All right, and it's not Yeshua. All right, the name pronounced in the Lashon Kodash and the Hebrew in our heritage, the legacy that was left to us, that was beaten out of us, our language was beaten out of us. All right, we weren't calling on Yeshua, we were calling on Yahushua. So that is the language of the heavens. All right, that is the language of the heavens. Go to Acts 22 and 8 to prove that. So Nate will stress the color of the Lord, which is fine. You can talk about the color of the Lord. That's some truth. But remember, his name is also very important. There's colorism in the heavens. Guess what? There's a language in it, and it's just as important. Acts 26:14. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking to me and saying in the Hebrew tongue. A voice from heaven spoke in the Hebrew tongue. Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And he said, who art thou? And he said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. Not Yeshua, not Ahiah, not Yeshua, not Christ. Christ is not the king. Hamashiach is the king. Remember, our people are lost. Our people are completely lost, and you keep leading them astray. IUIC continues to fumble on the 1 yard line. All you got to do is just dive in. And you throw out this other deity's name, like Yahushua. He used to preach the name of Yahushua. See, he wants to read the description, but you won't read anywhere where it says that his name is important, that you have to call on the name for salvation. Why is that? You have to ask yourself, why does he harp on the color so much, but never harp on the name? Because he will lose a lot of followers. He will lose a lot of his congregation if he uses the name. Because the names Yahweh and Yahushua, they bring about division. And what is the IUIC all about? Uniting all of Israel, no matter what their actions are. You see how hard they tried to go for Kyrie, and Kyrie pulled a behind the back pass. it passed the ball to Allah. It does not care about Israel. It does not care. IUIC is doing things for clout. That's why they will not declare the names. 2 Corinthians 4:1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we thank. But we have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, right? Knowing the names not. not walking in craftiness. If you know something's correct, why would you throw a lie in there? That's being crafty. Nor handling the word of the Most High Yahweh deceitfully. And that's deceitful. You had a platform, he asked you. What's the difference between you and the Christian church? And there is no difference. You have Catholic priests who are pedophiles that call on Christ, and you out there yelling out Christ is your king. What is the difference?
Yeah, I was getting lost listening to this. It's a good video, great video. You got caught up. Hashtag IUIC continues to fumble on the 1 yard line. And that is true. That is true. That's why you're being called out. All right. What was I going to say? Okay, there's no, and y'all should subscribe to this brother. Subscribe and get and be edified. I had to steal that from the elder Yashawamba. Subscribe and be edified. And he he ain't going super deep. He's basically dealing with the name and why did he say that, and hey. So anyway, let me listen to a little bit more. Let me listen to a little bit more, and then I'm gonna see where this is gonna take me. And I want to get Daniel 8, like I said.
Something's deceitful. You have wicked Edomites who are calling on Christ.
That's true. Jesus Christ. Why would you call Christ if if you're an Israelite, you should be speaking the Hebrew language. And you might say, well, we don't know it. Well, you know some Hebrew words. You do say shalom. You don't say salam alaikum. You don't say namaste. You don't say that. You say shalom. You say shalom. Well, you say shalom. You don't say shalom because then we would say, see, he's stealing from us. That he's saying it the right way. He got that from us. So there's I'm suspect about that. You got them guys lined up, and most of those guys I doubt could really even defend the gospel. But I don't know. I'm just saying that. You got too many guys coming in there that I don't know if they're vetted or not. I'm not talking about the other leadership by IUIC. They know how to handle themselves in the scriptures. But if you're gonna have a gathering and they're gonna be out there, they better all. The Apostle Paul say that you all show the same diligence. Anybody ask you a question concerning the scriptures, you go to this precept, get that precept, and get this precept next. So I don't know if guys are just blindly following you. And that was nothing but a gimmick. And like I'll say this, there's nothing wrong with gimmicks. Did not the Apostle Paul say, I caught you by guile? So there's really nothing wrong with that to get them in there. But then you say, our job, our mission is to wake up all of Israel. There's no scripture on that. There's a word in the scriptures, and the word is the elect. Most High is only coming for the elect. If half of those guys are not of the elect, they're not going to make it. They're not, which means they're not written in the Lamb's book of life. The only ones that are written in the Lamb's book of life are the elect. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect. Let's listen to a little bit more.
What's the difference between you and them? A purple shirt, a microphone, and a speaker.
Oh, now if you watch the other video, let me do this. Let me pull this up. Bear with me for a minute. Okay. There you can look at these comments, and Jake is just confused. They don't know what's going on. Yeah, Jake is just completely The Native American Indians had us as slaves also. So they are Israelites. Well, do you know that there's a law that Israelites enslaved other Israelites? That's in the law. If you enslave a man, becomes your servant. The Israelite man becomes a servant of another Israelite man. He is to be a servant for 7 years. But if he has an Israelite woman, that's his property for life. He can pop the woman. He can rape the woman. He can give the woman to his son to bear him children. But once his son or him, the master, bears children, then you got to accept her in as a, as a woman, as your wife. She raises, her standards are raised up. Okay. So y'all don't read the Lord. You don't read the Lord. Oh, I was reading about Jacob and talking to his uncle Laban concerning his daughter, his youngest daughter, and she was probably 11, 12 years old at that time. I think she was 11 because he worked 14 years for her. So he worked 2 Sabbath years, meaning 14 years. If she was 11, that means she was 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. She was almost 26 years old. So she aged a lot. She wasn't no 25, and then 14 years later is she's like 40, almost 40 years old. Back in the ancient world, you saw a young girl developing 11 years old, 12 years, 10, 11 years old, and then you made a deal with the father. And she didn't have no say in the matter. Leah didn't have no say in the matter. Rachel didn't have no say in the matter. Their 2 handmaids didn't have any say in the matter. So when he got them as a possession, he laid with all 4 of them, whether they liked it or not. Now, are we saying that to do that now? No. Oh, you got this guy, Paul Kersey, talking about, Tahar, he teaches against keeping the law. You know what? Watch the whole video, man. Why you think I got a beard on my face? Because of a fashion statement? Why do we keep the Passover and the high holy days? Because we keep the law. But you guys shove the law down people's throat as soon as they come in. Guy comes in. The Passover is 2 weeks later. Guy comes be a part of IUIC. They give him a purple T-shirt with nothing on it, no with fringes on it. You come to the Passover. They don't even know what the Passover is all about. A guy comes at our camp or around us. We're not going to invite you in the Passover. You're going to have to learn this thing, and maybe a year later, if you prove yourself, then we can say, keep the. Now you can keep the. Well, I want to keep the Passover too, but you really don't understand the Passover. You don't understand why you're keeping these high holy days. Anyway, this is what I'm going to do. Let me do this. Everybody's hyped up over this World Cup. The U.S., they beat Iran. The U.S. is not even going to make it to the quarterfinals. Trust me. If I'm wrong, tell me, see, you were wrong. I'm not going to be wrong. U.S. is not going to make it to the quarterfinals. They're going to get kicked out. Where is that going to go? I see. Bear with me for a minute. Let me bring this up. And I'm going to get into the scriptures. Okay, this right here, this interview right here, Jason Whitlock. I'm listening to part of it. Either this guy is just a lost soul, or he was, either this guy is just a lost soul, or he was given a script as to what to say. Because everything that, and Bishop Nate he said a lot of good things. Okay. Wait a minute, you talking good about Bishop? Yes, I'm talking good about him because he said a lot of good things. Did he come through 100%? Nope, but he came through 98%, I'd say. So he did well. He did well. But everything Bishop Nate said, say Bishop Nate short for Nathaniel, this guy, and you can see it in his face. I don't know if this guy was caught up in his emotions or he was given a script. But like I said, he's experiencing a news media tour. Because the people on the top, okay, we're going to put this guy, we're going to put him through that tour there. I remember because I experienced it my damn self. So let me go to the and by the way, they keep saying Bishop Nathaniel, but they all spelled the same way because these are all people that follow, that are party, mostly women that follow. See how they write it? Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop Nathaniel. These are all his people. See, Bishop Nathaniel, they don't spell it, they don't misspell it. These are all his people, IUIC member. Bishop Nathaniel. And they're mostly women. Genesis Israel. Thank you for having Bishop Nathaniel on your program. I love the bishop. I have been knowing about him for over 3 years. Look at that. Not one misspelling. It's all Bishop Nathaniel. The scriptures say, cursed be the man that trusteth in man. So there it goes again, Bishop Nathaniel. Thank you for having Bishop Nathaniel on. It did not disappoint. I'm listening. I admire what they did in support of Kyrie. Kyrie, by the way, is what's the term? Omnis. You know, he believes in many gods. One day he's wearing an Ankh, he's a Kemetic guy, then he's a Hebrew, then he's this thing, then he's all over the place. Confused individual, man. And the insider. It reminded me of the scene in the movie Malcolm X when they showed up at the police department. That's too much power for one man to have. Yeah. So what made the nation of NOI famous was those numbers, the marching. That's all Bishop Nate did. He took a page out of the Nation of Islam. You get a person dressed up in suits. I mean, in regalia, all the same color, and then marching. And you see the numbers. People get all emotional about that. But a lot of these people most of them watch it for entertainment purposes only. Anyway, let me just do this and I'll close. Breeze through this. Daniel 8. Let me give you the scriptures now. The 27 verses. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me just attempt to read the whole thing. Vision of the ram and the goat. And by the way, this is in secular history as well. If you go to Google, go to any site that deals with secular ancient history, they'll tell you that there was an empire called the Babylonian or Neo-Babylonian Empire, followed by the Medo-Persians, and they mentioned different kings and so forth. followed by the Greeks, followed by the Romans. So that right there proves that the word of the Most High, the scriptures, the Bible, that goes hand in hand with history, backed up by secular history. Okay, Daniel 8, verse 1. In the third year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. Now, Elam is where India is. It even tells you that in the scriptures. It mentions Elam and India in the same sentence. I'm not going to go to it. And matter of fact, you know what? Let me go ahead. Let me do this. This is how we know that. Where am I? Okay, I'm right here. Let me slide this over here. Elam. 28 times and 27 verses. The first time is mentioned in Genesis 10. Genesis 10 we call the table of nations. Any person you see on the planet Earth walking around came from one of three sons of Noah. Bear me for a minute. You know what? Let me do it this way. In thy Esther 1 verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Xerxes, this is Ahasuerus which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 107 and 20 provinces, meaning 127 states. It was more than twice the size of the United States, which is 50 states or 50 provinces. It says from India, right? Okay, Jews, which was from India. So where's India located? Reigned from India even unto Ethiopia. So where's India at? You go to the ancient map. Biblical map. See if we can pick this up. Okay, that's Elam, right? When you go further out, that whole area right there, that's what Assyrians ruled. You got Elam, which is India today. And then he said he ruled all the way up into, I think he said Euphrates, did he say? So he had all that there. He had all that there. So that's where Elam is. The East Indians, the Pakistanians, the people of Iran, they come from Elam. It says, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Uliah. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had two horns, and the two horns were high, one, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Let's do this. Remember, this is not this a dumbass Christian to say that's talking about the antichrist that's getting ready to come. That's why they get their asses handed to them when anytime they call themselves debating us. Let me bring this over. Let's see what the so-called Christian scholars got to say about this. Okay. Okay, it says a ram standing before the stream, and it had two horns, and the two horns were high. The ram is an emblem of power and dominion. The symbolism of the figure is explained in Daniel 8 and 20. The ram as a whole represents the combined powers of what? The Medes and Persians. But the strength of the animal lying in its horns, these are taken as representing more particularly the two powers separately, that of Persia as being the stronger and arising after the Media, being represented by the higher horn. I don't got to read no more. Even if you go to secular history, it'll say the same thing. This is come out of Cambridge Bible for schools and colleges. So this is considered, all these commentaries are going to say the same thing. They're going to say the same thing because it's common knowledge, common biblical knowledge. See, the king of Persia, ram's head. So they can't say, well, you Israelite, you just make stuff up. Well, wait a minute. We're saying the same things that these guys are saying. Came up last, which is the Persians. I saw the ram pushing westward, northward, and southward. Why not eastward? Because they were in the east. So that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. And that show you that in the movie 300. The fight that they had was the Spartans, which were Greeks, which were Israelites. They had those long bushy beards. Those are all Israelites. The 300, they were all jacked Jakes, and they were fighting against the Persian armies. That was during the time of the Persian rule, the Middle Persian rule. Fifth verse, and as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. So now let's go back over here. Let's see what the so-called scholars say. Okay, boom, Alexander. It's talking about Alexander. That's what the notable horn represents. And he came to the ram, Medo-Persian Empire, that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close upon the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram and brake his two horns, his power, and there was no power in the ram. That's how you know the horn represents power to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hands. Go back to history. There's a couple movies. There was a movie that came out, was this 15 years ago, on Alexander, and they even showed, who did that? Oliver Stone, I think he did that movie, and he said, "I'm gonna bring out the whole history." He showed that Alexander, he was a Mo. So I believe I didn't see. I remember brothers went and saw it, and when that scene came up, they walked out the theater. I said, "What the hell you go in the first place?" They told you in the reviews that they're going to show the whole thing. Now there was one with what is this guy, Gregory Peck, I believe it was Gregory Peck. They played him back in the day, and I used to show that at the school, which came out in the 50s about Alexander. But that one was more historical. They didn't show the Mo part, but they showed what them fighting the Medo-Persians, and they actually got actors that were actually Indian actors. It said, "Therefore the goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven." Now, what is that talking about? That's talking about Alexander getting sick and dying at 32 years old, and the four that came up with him, Lacomasus, Cassandra, Ptolemaeus, and Seleucid. If you go to matter of fact, let me do this. See, this guy, this clown, vocab, he doesn't know all this, and he'll say, "See, that's not true. You're just making it up." It's talking about. Well, let's go to the other Christian scholars. Let's see what it says. Let's see what it says. Here it is right here. Antigonus was a fifth. You mentioned him too. You can mention him. He was a general. But the four had Antigonus had nothing to do with the four. He would be like the fifth beetle. The final settlement was brought about by the Battle of Ipsus in 301, in which Antigonus was defeated and slain by Ptolemy, Seleucus, and Lacomaeus. So they had those wars. And I mentioned these: Ptolemy, Seleucus, Lacomaeus, and they should mention Cassandra. Cassandra is right here. Cassandra. Ptolemy, he took Egypt. Seleucus took part of our land. That's where Antiochus Epiphanes came out of. Lacomaeus went further east, if I'm not mistaken. I'm rusty on the history. And Cassandra, I believe, took like going up further up in Europe, where Greece is. See, these are the four kingdoms. So we're not making this up. Let me come back over here. 9th verse. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed great, exceeding great, toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. The pleasant land is our land. That little horn is not the, let's talk about the antichrist. As a matter of fact, let me do this. Let me see what these guys say. Let's see if they say the antichrist. Okay, who's the little horn? They're saying Antiochus, but they're not saying that it's Antiochus Epiphanes. Okay, here it is. Out of one of them, the history of Seleucus himself and his immediate successors is passed over, and the prophecy proceeds at once to Antiochus Epiphanes, whose reign was fraught with much momentous consequences of the Jews. That wicked root in Daniel, I believe that's Daniel 11. So it's not the Antichrist for you dumb, monkey-minded Christians. What is Daniel 8 is talking about? The Antichrist. Pleasant land is Israel. And out of one of them came forth a little horn. The little horn was Antiochus Epiphanes. Now in Daniel 7, when it speaks about the little horn, it's talking about America. That's future prophecies. And it waxed great even to the hosts of heaven. Who's the hosts of heaven? The Israelites and who they worship. They're coming against the Israelites. So we are part of the hosts of heaven. Read Revelation 12 from the first couple of verses. And it cast down some of them, some of the hosts, which are the Israelites, of the stars. Go back to Revelation 12 and 1, or 12, 1 and 2, to the ground and stamp upon them. And that happened again during the time period when the Lord came on the scene. 11, a year, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. He defied Israel and Israel's power. And by him, the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Now you got to go to the books of Maccabees, the account of the Maccabees. And to show you how wicked this guy was, it opens up First Maccabees 1. Read that whole chapter. Guy was killing Israelite women, Israelite infants. But this man is not the devil. And host was given him against the daily sacrificed by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground. So what is the truth? The scriptures. And it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision? The saint represents the angels. We are the saints, and the angels are also saints. Saint just means holy, kodash. The vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden down underfoot. And he said unto me, he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. What is that talking about? Brother Bakwa, what is that talking about? You asked me about the numbers in Daniel 12. What are these numbers? Well, what is this? This is for any of y'all. What is this talking about? The 14th verse. And he said unto me, on how long this is going to be? Come back. How long shall the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, meaning he desolated it, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot. Do what they want to do. The abomination that maketh desolate. It happened 2 times. The time of the Greek rulership, and then the time when the Lord came on the scene, when he prophesied this. And at both times they were Edomites. And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be clean. I'm throwing this out to Bishop Nathaniel. What does that mean? What does that mean? Paul Kersey. What does that mean, Paul Kersey? What does Daniel 8:14 mean, Paul Kersey? I have the answers. It's for me to know and you to find out. Interpretation of the vision. Okay, I can breeze through this. And it came to pass when I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning. And Daniel never understood this. He never understood this. It was given to him to scribe it down, to write it down for us today. It said, behold, there stood before me as appearance of a man, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of Oliah, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. Who's Gabriel? Who's Gabriel? This shows you that angels don't get old. That's a video. Angels don't get old and die. They don't eat. They don't have to sleep. You never sleep. You never sleep. Your body rests. They call it sleep, but your spirit never sleeps. Let's go to Gabriel. Gabar, warrior, Ya'ala. Warrior of God. Warrior of God. Didn't I say that? An archangel, the angel God used to send messages and great importance to men, sent to Daniel, to Zacharias, and to Mary, and to Joseph. Angels don't get old. And it came to pass, Daniel seen a vision. Behold, stood before me, Gabriel. So one angel told Gabriel, tell it, break it down to him. Make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood. And when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, man of the earth, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. See, Tar, you going off. I told you this to talk about the end times, the antichrist. No, the time of the end of this particular vision when it's come to pass. It's going to come to pass after Daniel has long died. And the priest that Alexander was going back and forth, that he had a dream of the priests and the company of priests wearing white. They were wearing white, not purple. They were wearing white. He went into the book of Daniel. He said, you see right, this part right here? This is Daniel talking about you. And he saw it. You go into the history of Alexander the Greek, or the Great, we say Greek. The man, he was kissing our asses. He wasn't taxing us. He was giving us gifts. He knew he was able to read and write Hebrew, and he was into the scriptures. But he was a homo at the same time. I don't know if they're going to take that down. Anyway, it says, now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground, and he touched me and set me upright. woke me up. And he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation, for at the time appointed, the end shall be. It's not talking about this current end of the world. It's talking about that time. The fulfillment is Alexander taking down the Medo-Persian Empire, the ram's identity. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the king of what? Media and Persia. So Daniel understood because he knew, because the Medes and the Persians were there. He knew about the Medes and the Persians, knew about the Babylonians. The goat and the rough goat is the king of Grecia. Grecia. Yawan. And Yawan goes back to the son of Japhet. That's why you got Ron Dalton Jr. talking about the so-called white man. They descended from the sons of Japhet. No, they did not. The sons of Japhet were dark-skinned people, the Minoans, the Etruscans, the Picts. And what happened was Esau went further north and took them down. Why? To fulfill prophecy. The so-called white people descended from Edom, not Japhet. Rough goat is King Greca of Greece, and the great horn that is between his eyes, the first King Alexander. Now that being broken, whereas four stood, and I read about the four, up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power, because they're going to split the kingdom into four. And then you had a series of six wars between the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Empire. Can you tell me what those wars are called in history? There were six of them. Paul Kersey knows. in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressions are come to the full, a king of fair continence and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. That's Antiochus Epiphanes. That's that wicked root in Daniel 11. I believe it's Daniel 11, and then also in the Maccabees. That ongoing war with the king, he was also known as a Syrian, because he came out of Syria, but he was an Edomite. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall, what does that mean? He hired mercenaries of other nations to fight for him. And they had these things called war elephants. That's a whole another subject. And I believe these were like mammoths. They weren't the elephant that you see in the zoo. These elephants were so huge and powerful. They built towers on the elephants. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I hadn't gone through this history in a while. It's in the Josephus that I believe they built towers on these elephants, and they was able to hold, I believe it was 37 men, something like that. So these were huge elephants. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people, the Israelites. Force a lot of them to sell out, eat pork, and he tortured a lot of them, men, women, and children. And through his policy shall he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. What does craft mean? That goes into witchcraft. The demons are working with him. in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy by his policies. You know, what does a president do? We're going to do this. They're coming at you with peace. We're going to make this a better place. We're going to make America great again. But then when they get in there, everything backfires. You experiencing this terrible administration. This current administration is terrible. The worst administration in the history of the presidency, man. When was the last time you saw Kamala? They bring her, they put her in a box, bring her out, you know, put some makeup on her, make a little 5-minute speech about something, and go back into your box. And then this guy is a walking corpse. It said, he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. In other words, he's defying Israel. He's defying the powers of Israel. And it says he shall be broken without hand. What happened? The Most High gave him an ailment in the stomach that he died from the inside out. What they call medical terms, they call it what the hell do they call it? It's when your cells, your immune system attacks itself. I mean, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I say it all the time. It'll come back to me. Somebody help me out. And the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told is true, wherefore shut down autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease. Let me look it up. It just came to me. Okay, autoimmune disease. Let me do this. You can see this guy, I ain't feeling this. But they told me they gave me the script. Google. Bear me for a minute. Okay, here we go. Autoimmune disease.
Johns Hopkins medicine, autoimmune disease happens when the body's natural defense system can't tell the difference between your own cells and foreign cells, causing the body to mistakenly attack normal cells. There are more than 80 types of autoimmune diseases that affect a wide range of body parts.
That's a hell of a thing where your immune system attacks each other, destroys your cells, thinking that's it's foreign. And that's ultimately what happened to him. Most High hit him with a supreme autoimmune disease, where his parasites took over from the inside out. It says, in the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told is true, wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. So we're talking, this is going to happen, let's say 300 years from the time he received the vision. And Daniel fainted and was sick certain days. Afterward, I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. And at that time, his position, he was the president. Yeah, presidents back then, which are under the king. That's why, if I'm not mistaken, all within, I don't know what year, you had all these presidents visit the queen, because the king, the presidents are under, they get their marching orders from the royalty out of England. That's why they praise, yeah, it's the queen. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next one. I went a little long, but